Nearly 1 month after Superstorm Sandy ripped through the East Coast, hard-hit regions of New Jersey and New York are still recovering from the devastation. The cost is expected to top $50 billion. Thousands are still homeless, and though electricity has finally been restored in some areas, many remain without heat, as the coldest winter months are fast approaching. The Church of St. Luke and St. Matthew is a main supply hub for Occupy Sandy, a spin-off of Occupy Wall Street, and among the numerous relief organizations bringing aid to areas like Staten Island, where victims of the storm say they've been neglected by governmental agencies and relief organizations.
But we have banners that we need to put up. We have to make sure the doors are open and make sure that there's someone in the store, one person at least in the store, to help people navigate.
Amin Hussein is an activist with Occupy Wall Street and a facilitator of Occupy Sandy's Staten Island relief efforts.
The area we're going to in Midland Beach is hard, has been affected to a great degree. And you'll see the devastation. It's pretty bad.
Staten Island is made up of both immigrant and working-class neighborhoods, including where many of the city's first responders live. This poses another challenge for Occupy volunteers, since they are now aiding many of the police officers that over the past year have frequently faced off with them in tense, sometimes violent confrontations.
And then from their vantage point, obviously, it's like, these are the people that made our life difficult. These are the people that are not patriotic. These are the people that don't care about America. And when you have those both in the same space. And we are in the building that many of them went to school to. So it's their community, and we're there to help them. And so that's really important for us to be respectful and to build trust. But it requires being very cognizant and very deliberate about how you interact with folks.
There was already a line of storm victims waiting for food, cleaning supplies, and medical aid by the time the Occupy Sandy activists arrived at St. Margaret Mary Church. Many had lost everything, including this woman who did not want to be named. A single mother of two, including a newborn, she's been staying with her sister since floodwaters destroyed her apartment. An undocumented resident, she's ineligible to collect aid from FEMA. She can collect on behalf of her children since they are citizens, but she's too afraid to request it because she fears being deported. For her, Occupy Sandy has been a lifeline to essentials such as clothes, diapers, and food. Even though Occupy has made a significant impact in the area, activists acknowledge the scale of the devastation is too great for them to help everyone in need. More than a dozen feet of water swept through this nearby neighborhood, destroying homes and killing several residents. This home was swept off its foundation completely.
It's decimated. It was a very close-knit community. It still is, what's left of it. I try to walk around and, keep the spirits up a little bit. The looks that I seen on the people's faces were like, they didn't want to make eye contact. They were disheveled. Fear. You've seen a lot of fear.
For area homeowners like William Kruger, the memory of the storm is still fresh in his mind. He acknowledges the likelihood of another superstorm like Sandy, but explains why he and many of his neighbors will remain in the area for the foreseeable future.
Our values have dropped significantly. I mean, my real estate agent who sold me the house just 5 years ago was always saying, whenever you want to sell, just let me know and at worst you'll break even. And I called him the other day, he said, not now, you can't even give it away. So we're basically stuck. So a lot of people are in the same position, so they're forced basically to rebuild whatever's left. So I think that's going to be the future story of how this neighborhood bounces back, if it does bounce back.
Another concern of residents is the effects of mold resulting from water damage and the dust and sand residue left behind from receding floodwaters. Walking through the neighborhood, we saw some construction workers without face masks. They weren't worried about the health risks. No mask? But it does worry Kruger. He and his wife have continued to live in parts of their home that avoided flooding. Since the storm, he's experienced a slew of bacterial infections and has had almost nightly fevers.
You don't know what's in this dust. I've asked people that come around, I've asked the EPA when I've seen them driving by. Nobody can give me a straight answer of what was in that water and what's in the dust. So there may be long-term health issues that people got to deal with that choose to, like myself, choose to stay here because we really don't have a choice now.
Kruger shows how high the water reached when it arrived at his home at 600 Quincy Avenue.
The water line was right about up to here. The fence was completely covered. This is the door that got blown out that I was telling you.
If he feels fortunate about one thing, it's that it appears his private insurance company will be paying the damage done to his home. Not all have been so lucky. Daniel and Darlene Sanchez, along with their daughter Daphne, are from Oakwood, Staten Island, another hard-hit area. Rising waters forced them on the roof of their home.
It got to a moment that we realized that, oh my God, it's 8 hours. We saw somebody drowning in the car in front of us. We're going to die. It's a big chance. It's a 50-50 we may die here. And we just told everybody, you know what? Thank you. We love you guys. And we're talking about Maine.
They ended up stranded for 8 hours before they were eventually evacuated by boat. Now, like many others, the Sanchez family faces another disaster. They want to sell their property, but are unable to until they rebuild it. And they can't start major repairs because so far their insurance company has only promised $10,000 of the nearly $150,000 they may need. 1 month after the flood, the Sanchez family has received a few $100s from a local church, but no money from FEMA, the Red Cross, or their insurance company.
Like, oh, you know, they got a big time people saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna help, we're gonna help, we're gonna help. But when it comes down to, there's nobody here. There's really...
Daniel, a federal law enforcement officer, and Darlene, a community advocate, are outraged.
Nobody that's around, there's nobody that's helping. You know, and that's the reality, that's the truth, you know, of the whole thing. And people have to understand, like, people that look, I work for the government, you know, and she works for the community. And we literally are spending our savings, our life savings, you know, because they're saying that they're helping, but they're not helping. Nobody's helping us, you know.
For now, they are staying with friends and family, but they know it's not a permanent solution. Just like in the days after the storm, nearly a month later, residents remain desperate for help. They're hoping public pressure will spur relief agencies and insurance companies into a greater response. Reporting for The Real News, this is Jessel Noor in Staten Island, New York.